Okay, well, we'll kick it off. So welcome, my name is Margot Jameson. I'm the General Manager of Westward Whisky Australia. I'd like to introduce you to Christian Krogstad, our Master Distiller and founder of Westward Whisky based in Portland, Oregon. So welcome, Christian. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we've got a great whiskey to talk about today. It's our two malts Bridgeport brewing collaboration, Westward Whisky. Do you mind telling us a little bit about the inspiration and about this great whiskey?
Sure, absolutely. So, Westward Whisky is very much informed by the American craft brewing movement. We all came out of craft brewing. So this is really sort of an homage to our brewing background, our brewing roots. This was a partnership with Oregon's first craft brewery from 1982 is when they started, called Bridgeport Brewery. Typically, the whiskeys that you know us for are our flagship Westward American single malt. You'll notice this is not called single malt because we are also using malted rye. The beer that we based this on was the Bridgeport Kingpin Red Ale, which is a really high malted rye content. It's very unusual for breweries to use such a high rye content. It's actually 32% malted rye. So obviously we couldn't call it a single malt. We came up with the name Two Malts. If you have a better name, please forward it on. But we like it. And we had the master brewer and a couple of the brewing team over to our distillery. We ordered in all the malts and the yeast that they use for making this beer, the Kingpin Red Ale. They came in and made a batch up on our system. We fermented it out, followed exactly their recipe up until when it was finished fermenting. We distilled it in our 2 pot stills, ended up with about 5 barrels of whiskey, which we aged for a little over 4 years in new American oak barrels. So it really is even a little more than what we normally do. It really is a beer that we distilled and aged, and it's delicious.
Excellent. I'm really excited to get into this one. So do you mind taking us through a bit of a tasting?
Absolutely. So one thing you're going to notice right off the bat, it definitely has that rye spiciness. The malting of the rye takes away a little of the astringency, but it keeps all that beautiful spice quality that you're accustomed to in a rye whiskey. But you also get that really nice fruity quality from the malted barley and from the fermentation. Because we have very little reflux in our stills, that flavor comes through of the beer. So you get definitely some stone fruit, particularly you get peach nectarine on the nose, and then that comes through on the palate. So the first thing you notice on the palate is just how creamy, how rich, what a great texture it has. Again, that's from our process. That's part and parcel of having very little reflux in our stills. You get that very creamy texture, creamy mouthfeel, but then a lot of, again, peach and spice. So it's almost like a peach cobbler in a glass. It's very nice. Then a long, lingering finish. I like to actually hold this one a little longer in my mouth than most whiskeys, just because it keeps delivering that peach nectarine quality. It finishes long, lingering finish, and it's remarkably consistent throughout, from the nose to the palate to the finish. You get that peach nectarine throughout, you get the spiciness throughout. It's just a great sipper. Comes across 100%. Cheers.